It'll be like the side of your head. It's frontal.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we're rolling. You ready to get started? You didn't need water? Do you
No,
need water?
I'm fine. Thank you.
All right. So, good. I'll start us off. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Dr. Rashnice Candy Tate, and I am the historian for the Atlanta branch of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And I have the pleasure of being here today to interview you with my student. Tell us your name.
Chauncey Lewis.
And she's a student at Atlanta Metropolitan State College, where I'm an adjunct professor. And we're here to talk about your veterans' history. Today is Tuesday, April 19th, 2016, and we're in Atlanta, Georgia at Emory University. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you please start by stating your name?
Okay, my name is Tarje Catrice Lacy, but I was born Tarje Catrice Lovelace.
All right. And where and when were you born?
LaGrange, Georgia. I'm a Georgia girl.
When?
Oh, yeah, I did say when, didn't I? February 18th, 1969.
Okay. Who are your parents and what were their occupations?
Okay. My father is Jack T. Lovelace Sr., and he is now retired. He is also a veteran. He's a Marine Corps veteran, and he actually served in the Vietnam War. My mother is deceased. She did administrative work at Internal Revenue. Well, actually she did tax and stuff. And her name is Roberta Lovelace. And actually they both were born in LaGrange, Georgia as well.
Okay. Can you tell me about your siblings, their names, their gender, and if they were in the military as well?
No, my brother nor my sister were in the military. My brother is Jack Lovelace Jr., and my sister is Christy Renee Lovelace, and they both reside here in Georgia.
Okay. What were you doing before you got into the service?
You can go start back
No, I'm
high
just kidding.
school, childhood, wherever you want to begin.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, I was looking for a job and not finding one here in Atlanta after leaving Georgia State University. Didn't say graduate. I said leaving. That's a long story, very long story. That would take up the whole 30 minutes.
Okay. We're going to talk about the early days in your service. So, in which branch of the military did you serve?
U.S. Air Force. Woo.
Ooh, okay. Did you enlist or were you drafted?
Oh, enlist.
All right. And why did you choose that specific branch?
The best for the best.
The best for the best.
Right.
Can you break that down for me a little bit?
Well, I knew I didn't want to be hardcore Marine. Swimming was not an option, so Navy was definitely not an option. Army, I didn't want to be a grunt, and I said, well, where all the smart people go? And I'm like, the Air Force, so that's where I went.
Okay. What happened when you departed for training camp? What happened during the earlier days while you were in training camp?
I had fun. People around me didn't.
Yeah, kind of tell us where was training?
Okay.
Where?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that segues into my little book here. It was at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas, at San Antonio, Texas. I went close to one of the worst times, right in the end of May through June, July, around that time frame. So we had a lot of red flag days, which means it was too hot to actually be outside to work out. So, I mean, we got our workout in, but you couldn't be outside because it was too hot. So
hotter than Atlanta and LaGrange.
Oh, it's like North Dakota compared to Texas in the summertime. It was crazy, but I loved it. We had fun. We formed a lot of friendships. And
did you encounter any hard tasks while you were in
there? Yes and no. Initially, I had to retrain my mind to recognize the mind game that was happening, because I did have a little bit of a rebellious attitude going in, and I recognized that, but I soon realized that, okay, they can't physically put their hands on me. All they can do is yell, and I'm good. I can handle a little yelling. My dad yelled all the time, so After that, it was easy.
Okay. Do you recall any of your instructors?
Oh yeah, we had Sergeant Williams and Sergeant Marlette. Sergeant Marlette loved to run. We ran everywhere. That man wore the tightest uniform I ever seen before in my life. I mean, it wasn't legging tight, but it was like right there, right on the cusp. You probably can get a pinky in there, and that was it. But he loved to run. So everywhere we went, our flight, double time, hurt. We went everywhere running. But we looked good doing it, so he did it every time we saw somebody, we ran. Sergeant Williams, he was an interesting character. And he liked to do cadence that basically picked at our brother flight. So we did the UGLY cadence every time our brother flight showed up. And that was fun. You try to keep a straight face while he's saying, you be like, you, yes, your brother flight, gee. And then you go about talking about how ugly they are. And, you just have to have a straight face while you're trying to do this cadence and you want to just laugh. And he would do this thing where he would yell at you in a way that you're thinking, I think he's trying to be funny, but he never smiles, so you don't know whether to laugh or just stand a little crazy, which is pretty much what we did most of the time. So, but I had to say I had a great time because of my drill sergeants.
Okay. Did you receive any specialized training?
Specialized training. Well, as far as I'm concerned, all of it was specialized. My first career was Air Force Armament Systems Technician. And my first plane was the F-15 at Kadena Air Base, Japan. I was asked to be a linguist on more than one occasion, but I didn't want to leave home, so oh no, I want to stay stateside. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, it's just like a job. I get a job and I stay in Georgia, but I still go back. No, my first base was Okinawa, Japan. So I should have been a linguist because I was going overseas anyway.
And that leads me into my next question. So I know earlier you said that you had to adapt to how they were talking to you, and you had to be like, okay, so they can only just do so much.
Right.
So did you have to make any other adaptations? I know traveling to Japan was a big change for you. So can you go a little bit more in detail about that, and if you had any more adaptations you had to make?
Now, the first part was that basic training as far as adapting to how people talk to you and learning to be it's basically learning to be a part of a team. What they're doing is they're breaking it down so you're not I anymore, you're we, and everything you do is for us. You learn that in basic training. So even though it looks hard, some people don't if you understand what they're doing, it makes it easy. It makes it easy to do. As far as when I got to Okinawa and making the adjustment, it was very, very difficult. For those people who are unable to read, I could feel that pain because to see words in kanji and not be able to read it drove me crazy. And I couldn't even imagine not being able to read. It's a pain that I'm sure others feel, and you don't realize. You just think, oh, they can't read. No, it's a real deal to feel that. So that's probably the direction I really should have gone in when I got out. But yeah, I can understand that just from being overseas.
What about as far as adapting to the food, the social life, physical regimens, anything like that?
Well,
You had to work out more, work out
It was
less?
easy. I was already a gym junkie, so it was fine for me. I love running, so that was great. So it didn't bother me as much doing the workout and I'm still that way. If for those who know me around here at Emory, I'm still get out and gotta go.
So was the food different?
It was interesting. It was like, powdered eggs and stuff like that, At least that's what it looks like, But I would say when I got to my tech school at Lowry Air Force Base, Colorado, that was some of the best food ever. If you get up at 6 o'clock on Saturday morning, you got steak. It was first come, first serve, but you had to get up early in the morning to get that steak.
So
Steak and eggs. Oh yeah, we got up Saturday morning for the steak and eggs. And we had fun there. Colorado, only place I know of that you could be outside in your shorts while it's snowing, because where Lowry is located is it was in a valley. So the wind would go right over top. So you don't get that cold air rushing in like, like when the wind blows. So if you're in the sun, it's warm, even though the snow is coming down. So it was odd, but it was nice.
And what was happening at Lowry, because it's not on.
Yeah, Lowry is
so
my Lowry is our tech school or our
Okay.
technical school. It's where I learned. It's for aircraft armament systems technician. That's where I learned how to do that job. Lowry is now closed, and it's been closed for many years now. So they closed that one not too long after we were the last. I think we were the last to come through.
What is that tech job? What does that mean? What do you do?
That's your career.
Mhm.
That's the job you do in the military, at that particular time. Because I did switch over to a different job about 3 years later.
And what did you say it was? Armament?
Armament, yeah, armament,
doing?
aircraft armament systems technician.
Mhm.
So basically, I just loaded the missiles on the plane, and
Just
That's dangerous.
that's right,
Okay.
and the chaff, and which is the countermeasures, and we load the countermeasures on it, and gun systems and ammo, and then if it break down, we were the first ones to take a look at it.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we're gonna go into the wartime service, and I
Mhm.
want to know, where did you serve?
I didn't see actual combat myself. I was at Cannon Air Force Base when Desert Shield started, because I don't think it was Desert Storm yet. But that's where I was when all that started, and that's where I was when it ended. We had several squadrons leave. My particular section, we were training. We were a training section, so we didn't go first. But we did get the word that we were possibly getting ready to go, so pack your bags and get ready. So we were in the position to get ready, and then all of a sudden they said, it's over. And we cheered because none of us were ready to go.
I
You know.
understand.
Mhm.
So the next question is, if you served abroad. So I'm pretty sure that was here and you guys were getting ready to, but can you go more into the memories of that experience?
Mhm. Well, when I was abroad, I was, like I said, I was in Okinawa, and then from there I did tours in Korea, Osan Air Base, and also Kunsan Air Base, where we did a 6-week exercise where we were out basically in the middle of nowhere, and we slept on runways. And, we made a whole tent city out there, and that was fun now, not so much then, because it was in the middle of winter in Korea. So, needless to say, going to the restroom and long johns, your parka, your boots, and you running down this cold ramp that's made of metal to get to a tent that has a wood plank with a couple of holes in it in the dark. So, so you just
That
shine
was
your
your
flashlight, you grab your buddy, and you're like, let's go. And then
So while you were over there, what were your main duties? Were you still doing what you were doing over in Japan?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because I was still permanently stationed in Japan. These were like little short temporary duties when we go off somewhere else and do exercise and come back. So yeah, I still loaded missiles on the plane for them to go out and do their training sessions.
Okay. What kind of friendships did you form while serving, and with whom?
A lot of great friendships initially in basic training, although I will say I did not keep in touch with them like I would have now, because we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have email and texting and all that. We had to, you write a letter and you go mail it, and when you have time
It's a lost art.
exactly, it's a wonderful thing, but it's like that's one of those things you got to actually sit down and do it. And when you playing go
Mm-hmm.
it's not, okay, it could have been easier, but I didn't do a good job of put like that. I do have some friends from further along the way, more career, that I did, I keep in touch with.
Did you keep any of your letters?
I do. I have my letter from my mother,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I have a letter from my sister and one of my friends from back home, and I'm sure there are others. I don't want to not start naming names and
Right.
not remember everyone.
Well,
So.
as part of this project, we love, so we want to get copies of the photographs, but once you look at the letters, if there's something that you can share, we would love to, you could just scan them and we would love to
Yeah, I can
have
send
a copy
you.
of them.
Yeah, 'cause my mom used to send me stuff, which was cute. Her letters weren't necessarily long, but she does this doodling thing where she drew this little lady with a little hair, a little squiggle. It was something that simple, but it just meant the world to me because it just reminds me of her personality and the way she is. So it was.
Okay, so you were getting letters from your mom while you were in Japan?
In basic training, because
Okay,
in Japan, not so much.
Okay. All right.
What I did in Japan was I learned this little trick that if I called the base locally, then I could ask the operator if she would transfer me over to, the home for a moment. So they would allow that for, 10
You
minutes
didn't
here
have
and
to
there.
pay.
No, you didn't have to pay, so that was great. Otherwise, you had to buy these phone cards back in the day, and use them. And from Japan, that was very expensive. $20 was like a 5-minute phone call.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So you're like, gather everybody around, I'm gonna call you at this time. So, because everybody had to be waiting by the phone until you call, so you could speak to everyone for about 30 seconds or so.
So that's how you kept in touch with everyone?
Well, my family, that is. Some of my friends, I saw them when I came back home to visit, when I take my 30 days to come home and visit, which was a rude awakening, kind of, because you come home and you're all excited, and everyone's excited like the first week or first weekend or whatever, then they have to go back to their regular lives, and you're just sitting there wondering what to do. So I'm like, so to anybody out there that's starting anew, don't take all your leave at one time, because everybody's not going to be able to stay home and hang with you at that one time. So get that out there.
So you learned that.
Yeah, you learn that. I tell my son that. My son's in the Army, and I tell him, don't use all your leave at one time. A week or two here and there when we can take off. That way you enjoy your family and spend time. Otherwise, you're just doing your regular everyday life that you did before you went in, because they still have to go to work and come home, do that.
Okay. Did you ever witness any casualties or any destruction?
No, I did not.
Okay. And what did you do for recreation or when you were off duty?
Wow, let's see. Well, that depends on where I was. And actually, when I was in Okinawa, I worked where I got off maybe like at midnight. And I had a friend that came. He came later. His name was Cody. And he happened to be as silly as I was, because we went out and we found playgrounds in the middle of the night, and we would swing, we would slide like little kids, and then they had ice cream in the vending machines. That was the first time I ever seen that, and we would get ice cream out the vending machines and do little silly things like that. And then I got into, of course, the gym. So at one point I started bodybuilding before the kids came. So the kids came, so that was that. And just racquetball and just things like that. Just regular everyday things, I guess, that people would do.
So why was health and exercise, all that, so important?
I don't know. You know what? It was just me. I've always been that way. Maybe because I didn't do sports when I was in high school, and I always wished I did. So I don't know. But I've always been a runner. And all about fitness.
So did the Army make you want to work out even more, or did it make you want to slow down? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Did the Air Force make you want to work out more or less, or did it just maintain and keep you
Just the same thing.
Okay.
Well, I mean, a little bit more, because I had to, we had to be tested, for fitness or whatever. But so just a little bit more.
And were there weight and hair requirements for women, or all? I don't know if it's all.
Oh, well, especially women. Well, men had high and tight. There was no hair hanging down. We couldn't let our hair hang below the collar of the shirt. Your hair could not go past half of the collar of the shirt. Couldn't cover it up. So of course, the typical braid down the middle and roll it up, or hair in a bun. But your hat has to be able to sit down on it properly. You can't have it tilted way down to the front or whatever. So, and no balls in the middle, because then your hat would have this ball, and then that would be a whole nother deal, right? So yeah.
Well, then how is that for, as they say, African American hair, women, and exercising and sweating and?
It wasn't a problem then, I guess, because, it's like college. When students get to college, they rediscover their natural selves. Those that would wear a perm all the time, wear about straight edge. I watch the girls with their natural hair and natural fro, and I love it. And basically, that's the way we were then. But you always have to find someone that can at least do a couple of cornrows. And we would do maybe, like I say, the braid down the middle or the two around the side just to keep the hair out of the way.
Yeah.
So, but we had some glamorous women there, they took the time to do their hair every single day, but I was not one of them.
I understand. So, how did you return home?
When you say return home, you mean like in the end after the whole 10 years? More mature.
I was about to say, wait a sec. So we haven't covered, what were you doing for 10 years? Have we covered all of that?
Oh, well, I
Since
did switch. I
see some sergeant stripes. How did you, tell us some more.
Yeah, I did make
Hold
a
that
career
up.
change. I made a career change after an injury on the flight line. And it's not a major injury, but it was like I could have cut my finger off just then. Then I was like, I want to do something else. I think, and then I started thinking, what am I going to do when I get out? Can I do this when I get out? And then when I started looking around, there were only a few companies that I could work for. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably the time to think of something else I can do, So that's when I looked into doing my choice was paralegal or education and training management. So I thought paralegal, and either one could have gone. Because education, training, management, I was noticing with people downsizing, because especially the military, we had started downsizing at one point. And I'm like, well, they're going to start retraining people. That people may know how to do one job, but they're going to start retraining them to do others because they're letting people go. So I'm like, well, that's a good career field. So I did that for the next 7 years. So, and that's when I came back from Okinawa, I went to Cannon Air Force Base in Clovis, New Mexico. Yep. And then I went to North Dakota. That's when I retrained and I went to North Dakota. Clovis is fine. It's just not a whole lot to do. So there's not a lot of conversation about Clovis. And went to North Dakota, which is where I met my husband, who was also military. And you should probably hear his story. He has a great story too. And that's where I made staff
His
sergeant.
name is?
Roger Eugene Lacy Jr.
Okay.
And that's where I made staff sergeant after 7 years, a little longer than I wanted to, but that whole career switch, and because what I didn't say is each career is really a lot like college. That's why you get a degree when you come out, because you have to learn that career field, and then you have courses in that career where you have to learn all of it. Like I only worked on the F-15, and then I worked on the what is that big plane? The nickname for it is the Aardvark. I worked on those planes, but I would have to know the weapon systems for all of the Air Force fleet, all of the different weapon systems, in order for me to pass this test. So, yeah, it's a lot of information. And then going into the education and training field, that was relatively new.